We have some leaked emails of Colin Powell. DCleaks.com, apparently connected to Guccifer 2.0. I don't know how these guys work. And I don't know who they are. Anyway, they've leaked the emails. Yesterday on the program, there was a significant debate among the hosts as to whether we should talk about these emails. And it is a difficult question. So I think that if you have private video of like Aaron Andrews, no, you shouldn't air that. And that's gross invasion of privacy and adds nothing to the national conversation. On the other hand, if you have a leak of, for example, the Apache helicopter video that Chelsea Manning leaked, where we show our guys killing journalists and first responders, well, that you should definitely talk about because that's what our government is doing, and we need to see that. This lies a little bit somewhere in between because it's private emails, it's Colin Powell's personal opinions. On the other hand, it does have to do with important national issues. So I've decided that we are going to read you some of those emails, partly because, come on, who are we kidding? Everybody else on the planet has shared these emails. So when you look at all of that and the import of it and what we're going to learn from it, I've decided to go forward with the story. So now, and by the way, I think the ending of this story is the most important part and the one being talked about the least, as usual. First, let me run through the standard stuff with you guys in case you haven't seen it. There was plenty of drama. Susan Rice, of course, formerly Secretary of State under George W. Bush, talking to Colin Powell, who was Secretary of State before her, about what knuckleheads Don Rumsfeld and the neocons are. She said, first, we didn't invade Iraq to bring democracy, but we overthrew Saddam. We had a view of what should follow if Don, referring to Rumsfeld, and the Pentagon had done their job after claiming the right to lead post-war rebuilding things might have turned out differently. So now, we knew some of that drama existed. This proves it. Yes, there were significant disagreements in the Bush administration. And yes, Rice and Powell thought, like the rest of the country, thought the neocons and Rumsfeld had screwed up Iraq. She was right about that. She later said Rumsfeld should, quote, just stop talking because he, quote, puts his foot in his mouth every time. Well, good to see our version of reality confirmed by even inside the Bush White House. Colin Powell agrees, and he says, as you say, the boys in the band were brain dead, referring to the neocons like Feith and Wolfowitz and Rumsfeld. Okay, now we turn to what Powell thought about Donald Trump. He says Trump is a national disgrace and an international pariah. Now that is Colin Powell, who's worked for countless Republican administrations. So not good news for the Trump campaign in that, but wait till you hear what he says about Hillary. He goes on to say about Trump, he appeals to the worst angels of the GOP nature and poor white folks. Now, that is literally true according to the polling. He does best among poor, uneducated white voters. Trump does. Now, on the idea of whether he can win over black voters, Colin Powell says he's at 1% black voters and will drop. That would take him to 0%. He takes us for idiots. And did Colin Powell believe that the birther movement was a legitimate question? No. He said the whole birther movement was racist. So Republican Colin Powell, very clear about what he thinks about Donald Trump and the birther movement. Now, we get into more interesting terrain when we get to what he thinks about Hillary Clinton and the Clintons overall. A lot of people have been talking about this. About Bill Clinton, he said he's, quote, still dicking bimbos at home. Damn. Now, I don't know anything about that. All we know is that portion of the email. That's not good news. Okay, we move forward. I mean, it is what it is. I don't have anything more than that, okay? Apparently, Colin Powell liked the word dicking, as you'll see in a second. That's the first instance, but it's not the last. Okay, about Hillary Clinton, he says, I would rather not have to vote for her, although she's a friend I respect. Boy, that right there is a great indication of the establishment and how it works. Like, got no use for Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton, I'd rather not vote for her. We can get richer with another candidate. I am a Republican. But, you know, she's a friend. We're all friends on the cocktail circuit. So I guess I'll go with her. Now, this is very interesting. Colin Powell is talking to Jeffrey Leeds. Jeffrey Leeds is a top Democratic donor. Their connection is very, very interesting. I'll tell you why they're connected in a second. He says to Leeds, they're going to dick up the legitimate and necessary use of emails with frickin' record rules. Again, there's a lot I'm amused by in these emails, but Colin Powell's use of the word dick and dicking is my favorite. Okay. Anyway, he's saying, in essence, and this is what most of the press has been focused on, which is, hey, Hillary Clinton, yes, I did give you some guidance on how you could use a private email, but no, I didn't say you should use a private server, and I didn't say you should use me as an excuse. I find that largely uninteresting. The fact that he's talking to leads is interesting. We'll get back to that in a second. Okay, but more on what he thinks about Hillary Clinton. He says everything she touches, she kind of screws up with hubris. Oof, nailed it. Now that is exactly right. Number one problem with Hillary Clinton is hubris. I can't lose. Barack Obama, it's that guy, that young senator, African-American guy, going to beat me. I'm this thousand, going to be, oh, stick to lot, I lost. Everything is hubris. You saw it in that campaign, you see it in this campaign. And he's also right about why she's running and what her intentions are and what she's really about. He said she's all about, quote, unbridled ambition. That is so true. Okay. But now we get to Colin Powell's intentions. So one of the reasons that he's angry at her is, according to what he told someone else in these emails, he says, I told you about the gig I lost at university because she so overcharged them, they came under heat and couldn't, I guess, afford or do any more fees for a while. I should send her a bill. Oh, the insiders. What a fun little club they have. You go rob that university and then I'll go rob them. Oh, you robbed them too much. You took too much money from them at a speaking engagement, leaving nothing for me. Boo, Hillary. Your unbridled ambition has thwarted my unbridled ambition. How dare you, Hillary Clinton? So this is how the club works. But now, finally, let's get to the most interesting stuff. So now this is Jeffrey Leeds talking to Colin Powell. Again, a very important, massive Democratic donor that knows the Clintons well. He explains about Hillary Clinton. She's got trouble too. No one likes her and the criminal thing ain't over. I don't think the president would weep if she found herself in real legal trouble. She'll pummel his legacy if she gets a chance and he knows it. And that is recent. That's some of these emails are, all these emails are 2016 and 2015, these Leads to Powell emails, okay? Because when I saw it, I was like, really? I mean, they're having bad blood with President Obama and Hillary Clinton? And I immediately looked at the date. I'm like, is it 2008, 2009? They still haven't gotten over it? No, we're talking about very recently. Wow. Really? I mean, we don't know that Leeds is the most authoritative person on this. We don't know if he's 100% accurate about the president's feelings, Hillary Clinton's feelings. But here's a guy who's connected to all of them saying that the president wouldn't weep if she found herself in real legal trouble. That's an interesting theory. Okay, but he goes on to say this. I think Hillary can't believe she might not make it. It's the one prize she wants. She has everything else, and she, and this is capitalized, hates that the president, that man, as the Clintons call him, kicked her ass in 2008. She can't believe it or accept it. Wow. To this day, you're telling me a person inside these circles that knows the Clintons say that the Clintons still call Barack Obama that man? I'm so confounded by the media. I am and I'm not. They're all in the same cocktail circuit, so I guess they all want to protect each other. That's a big story. That's not a headline. The President Obama and the Clintons don't like each other. The Clintons call Obama that man. President Obama wouldn't mind if Hillary Clinton got into legal trouble. I know that this is not, don't get me wrong, just because this Jeffrey Leeds guy said it doesn't make it 100% true. But you're reporting everything else in the emails like they're 100% true. Colin Powell has verified that the emails are real, but they are these people's opinions. But that's an interesting story, but it's almost nowhere. The only place I saw it was Lee Fong at The Intercept had it and Zero Hedge had it. So that's very interesting. Now, finally, why is Jeffrey Leeds, a major Democratic donor, talking to Colin Powell so much? Oh, it turns out they have an interesting connection too. Powell is the chairman of the advisory board to Leeds Equity Partners, an investment firm that co-owns for-profit college mega corporation EDMC. Unsurprisingly, Jeffrey Leeds is the co-founder of Leeds Equity Partners and is also on the board of EDMC. So they give to Democrats, they give to Republicans, then they get them on their boards, and then they use them for credibility. Now, did EDMC run into legal trouble? Yes, they did. Some of the colleges within their umbrella charged with fraud. The federal government looking into more of those for-profit colleges that they run. But in 2011, Powell appeared before a lobbying association for the for-profit college industry where he gushed, quote, "Our society has such a need for education and no field has more to help than career and private sector education." See, this is how the insiders work. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. Republican, Democrat, who cares, just as long as you're an insider. So I need you to come out here and tell everybody how great for-profit colleges are. Then we'll run a bunch of scams, get super rich off of them, and then we'll use a little bit of that money and we'll sprinkle it around. I'll hire you on my board, Colin Powell, and then I'll go give millions of dollars to the Democrats and to the Clintons, and then we'll all have a good laugh over how we're all sharing the booty and maybe not sharing it enough. You know, the Clintons, they take too much of it. Gee, I wonder why people can't stand the establishment anymore. This is why. You think we're not onto you? You think you're just going to keep on getting away with it? No, we know what's going on. It's disgusting. So these emails, they don't help Donald Trump. They don't help Hillary Clinton. But the reason I decided to cover them at the end is because they do help the American people get a sense of how it works inside the club. And it is just as bad as you thought it was. If you're upset with mainstream media, we have the alternative for you. Come build independent media with us. Your membership powers the Young Turks. tytnetwork.com/join.